What is up? How's it going? All right, we're live. Just bear with me while I... What? Oh, how's it going? Myself. Don't need that. Let's get rid of... Right. Hey there, James. How's it going, man? All right. So, hopefully, the sound is okay. Hopefully, you can see what's going on my screen just as soon as I hit this button here. All right, there we go. So, Alexis. Nice one, mate. Hello, buddy. Let me just close this down, try and make life a bit easier from a computer. There's quite a bit. Matt and Bex, hello. Hi, guys. Not bad. Right. So, first of all, yeah. Oh, good. I'm live on YouTube. All right. So first up, hopefully the stream is not too laggy. I'm doing the best with what I can here. With a bit of luck, the sound will be okay. 1, 2, 2. Okay, there's me. Right, and hopefully here we're gonna have a bit of music. This is cheap. Cool. Yeah. So what we've got here is a Liv Austen track that was recorded probably a couple of years ago, and it never made it. We never. A bit more technical preparation went into this one today. We got caught short on the last one with Liv. So yeah, so this track is this is a Liv Austen song. Liv's my partner. We live together, so we're quite fortunate in that way, and she's very kindly let me use this as an example. Trouble with doing this is that for tracks that have been released is we're going to get copyright strikes, and it'll be taken down by YouTube because they think it's because it's using somebody else's copyrighted material. So, but this should be okay because it's not been released. So we've got a track here it's called Same Story. She did it live quite a lot. And I think in the end, it didn't quite fit on the album, so it didn't make it. I'm just gonna turn off a couple of things here to check the sound is okay. I trust you can all hear the Logic project as well as the microphone. So we're going to work without the lead vocal to start with. So I listened to this. Let's have a listen to the song. Without too much judgment. Thanks, Thiago. Cheers, buddy. Right. So what we got your pretty standard acoustic drum kit that was played by Adam Faulkner. Recorded. We went down and recorded it in his little place in Wandsworth. No longer there, sadly. There's an acoustic guitar at the start there. The main guitar is an electric guitar. It's actually the guitar guide, as you can see. This was the guitar that initially I recorded to just get the track structure in place, and to work with, and lazily never redid it. I think many times I thought I should, and you'll probably hear why. But in the end, I didn't didn't get round to it, and then since the song wasn't actually released, we didn't bother. There's an acoustic guitar that comes in towards the end, and it looks like there's some at the start there. We got a synthy thing here. Oh, and then like risers and stuff. So this was all done in sections. So the lead vocal, I think, probably needs some work. It may have been like a first attempt, or like a guide type of thing. So, well, no, it looks like we did a few takes. We did a couple of takes. But we'll come back to the vocal. So the main thing for me is that the sound of it overall is not too bad, but for me it's a bit bright. There's not. I'd like it to sound a little bit more expensive, a little bit more of a sort of thicker, warmer sound. Like it's a bit kind of shrill. It doesn't sort of, if you turn it up, it doesn't sort of sound quite right to me. So the first thing to do, I think, is like, let's have a look at, what do you think? I think maybe let's get rid of that vocal. There's not really much in the way of a thump from the kick, or any real sense of solidity there. So periodically, I'm going to stick my speakers on with the sub. Yeah, it doesn't really have much meat to it. So let's see what's actually going on with them. They're going to. Oh, there's nothing happening. Right. Excuse me. Right. First thing, I want to check the phase, because to me that sounds a bit thin. It's louder, but when you flip the phase, there's a bit more low end. So I think I prefer it like that. Right, let's send those to their own track. So this has been partially mixed, this track, but I'm just not loving the sound of it. But it'd be nice to make it sound like kind of nice and sexy. So let's send because there's two kick drum microphones. There's the kick in and the kick out. I think the one that's out is like a speaker that's wired in like reverse polarity. Oh, 1 second, excuse me. So that's going to happen every now and again, because loopback software, it's on a trial. It's £100 to be able to sort the audio out, just in order to stream just for this. I wanted to see if I'm actually going to do any more of these or just leave it as it is. So I'll have to do that every 20 minutes, I think. Right. So there's a mic inside the kick, and there's a speaker outside of it being used as a microphone. So I'm going to send those to a bus. Right, so now we've got a kick bus. This could be the most boring stream in history. By the way, if anyone has any questions, sound quality is fantastic, by the way. Thanks, Mr. Butters. Mr. Butters, I don't know who you are, but I'm glad the sound is okay. Okay, so back to the kick. Right, so immediately after taking it out of the routing it to a bus, which goes to the main output, that has stopped it being sent. It was previously being sent to a drum bus, which has got a 76 on it. I don't know how much work that's doing. Oh, nothing much, but yeah, it was a bit quieter. So okay, so this, as I say, this is a partial mix. It was kind of mixed enough to kind of send to the label, or for Liv to have a sense of whether the arrangement was working or not. But yeah, as I say, I don't love it. Right, come on, let's crack on with the kick drum. It's very strange. It's very strange doing this. I feel like I need to rush through it, but I'll just get on with it. So listening to the drum part, let's listen to the whole kit, because it's got a real bounce to it. Here's the chorus. We've got some Logic percussion in here as well. Sounds like there's claps over there on the right. Bit of a ring on those toms, but might come back to that. So it's got quite a nice bounce, and I kind of want to smash it a little bit, smash it through a compressor. In fact, I've got a lovely hardware compressor there, which I might use. It's a bit of a pain it's a bit of a faff to set it up, but we'll see. Right. Going on with this snare. Oh, it's horribly gated, isn't it? Okay. I don't like that at all. Let's check the snare bottom. So there's basically, it's very standard snare drum miking technique. You're nowhere to be right now. Okay, fair enough. So there'll be one on the top and one on the bottom. I think it was a 57 SM57 on both, but it looks. I want to take these gates off. Essentially, because a couple of years ago, I wasn't doing so much of this, and all my mixes from in the last year are way better than this was. Maybe it was more like 3 years ago we were working on that. So I always find this as I go back to my mixes, I'm like, what the hell was I doing there? And it's usually in the areas of things like compression and EQ, the creative ideas, like things like panning, arrangement and stuff. Usually I still like some of those things, which is why I haven't just set this completely back to square one as a mix. But I do find that that when I go back and look at the way I EQ things, and the way sometimes, maybe not so much compression, but like I say, gating, I'm always a little bit disappointed. So that's kind of why I'm doing this now, is like I want to have a look at this, try and make it sound, see what we can do with it. There's a compressor on here. I don't know how much is. Nope, not. It's doing a bit, but I don't love the sound of it. Let's take that off. Okay, all right. So immediately taking the 76 style plugin off the drum bus, I'm enjoying the sound of the snare more. So that was obviously not doing too much. What's going on with this? The snare sounds a little bit light to me. There's not a great deal of weight to it. Yeah, that's kind of the area where I maybe would like that. A little bit of weight there. Maybe let's have a little look through this. That's still gated. I wonder if... Surely it wasn't recorded with a gate. Can't be. Cannot be. Okay. So I'm just looking on the master bus to see if there's anything happening here. There's not, but I'm going to take all this crap off. Reset that. So the snare... It really... Maybe it's just heavily compressed. I have a feeling we used like a valve, a crunchy valve preamp, one of those thermionic culture things. So it might be that that's just kind of overloading a bit. That's doing a little bit as well. But that's not going to be making those kind of differences. Lots of hi-hat on there. It's always a bit annoying. Oh well, we'll live with it. Okay. Let's get a kick and snare happening a bit. It's this, isn't it? That's the problem. Oh my god, friggin' amateur hour here. Right. Okay. Yeah. Do we need that reverb? Give me more drums. So again, rather than EQing the snare drum mics, I mean, it's the same microphone, and as I say, they're kind of at like that on the top and the bottom of the snare. I'm going to just send them to one channel, one bus, and EQ them from there. I find I'm chasing my tail when I'm EQing one mic and then looking for it on the other, and yeah, it's can't be asked. Right, so right, let's create a track. Let's call this snare bus. So yeah, we've got kick drum, both kick drum microphones going to the kick bus, both snare drum mics going to the snare bus, and the track that you click on appears here on the left, and the output of it, unless you select to ascend, is here. So then you can just right click on that, create a track, save something to go into the mixer, and doing it from here. Anyway, so kick and snare. What's going on? Alex, such good memories looking at that room. Back to a better time. Oh, mate, you feeling sentimental? Yeah, it is strange. It is. I mean, I do naturally spend a huge amount of time in this room on my own. But yeah, it is a bit of a shame not to be able to have people like yourself around to work on stuff. That was good. That was good fun though. Making Alexis. I don't know. Yeah, I made an album with Alex. He wrote all of his own songs, brought them around, or would send them to me, like the GarageBand versions, and I'd sort of arrange them and make them, try and kind of bring them into more of a kind of professional sounding, like arrangements and And yeah, I had a really great time. It was a fucking great album, actually. I mean, I still think it's really good. And yeah, I recommend checking out Alexis Jared. What's it called? The Album, I think. Is that right? I don't know. By the way, what are we thinking about the way the stream looks? For me, it's a bit of a head job, so to speak, because I want to see the chat here on the right. So that means I have to have it on this screen, but I'm broadcasting this screen, so it means you get it there, and then you'll also get it on the right. So you, and then there's a little me in the corner there. Hello. Anyway, I hope it sort of makes sense. Anyway, right. Let's get this kick and snare happening. What does it sound like in the context of the track? So the snare to me sounds flat. Now, obviously, I've just taken all the processing off it, so it doesn't sound. It sounds probably worse than it did before. But I think with a different approach, I like the EQ that's on the top. But I think if a different approach might get us a bit further along with fewer plugins. Right, so I wanted to crunch up the snare a tiny bit, but what's happening is it's bringing out loads of hi-hats, and we do not want that. So I wanted to crunch it up and give it a little bit of sizzle. Try the high cut. Okay, there's only so much top end I can add to that without, bringing out too much more hi-hat than I'd like. I believe the hi-hat mic is muted, so yeah. In context. Okay, so that's not too bad actually. Let's try a little bit more. Quite like it. I quite like that. I mean, I didn't, cranking it up to the drive up to 9 it sounds all right to me. We'll see. I might just stick with that for a bit, and see whether any problems arise down the line, but we'll see. Feedback, Mr. Butters, or Butters, Mr. Butters. No, it's good because we can watch full screen and still see the chat. There you go. Okay, cool. Oh, look, good. I didn't even think about it like that, but I do the same thing when I watch people streaming. Okay. I'm now wondering what's going on with the overheads and whether we can get a little bit more of a kind of openness, because it sounds a bit which is not a bad place to start for me. So I'm guessing I've done a high pass way too high, and probably added some sizzle. Yeah, probably don't need. I'm just going to get rid of that compressor on the overhead. Nice one, John. Thank you, John 2017, for that. I'm going to get rid of that plugin. Right, let's just have a listen to the overheads on their own. So it looks like a mono, but it is actually stereo. It's just 2 tracks. It's a stereo microphone. Yeah, so Adam has in his studio this, I think it was it was 280, what was it? Hold on, let me see. .414s. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they should be quite well balanced actually, because rather than having them above the drum kit like that, they're together and angled. But instead of angling it flat across the kit, the problem with that is that you have the snare is here, sort of to the drummer's sort of left hand, or even if he's there, but it's not central in the kit. So as you push up the overheads, the snare can kind of drift off to the side, and the kick is also off. So instead of having the overheads sort of above the cymbals like that, they're kind of rotated, so that so sonically the snare is central and the kick is central. Is that the Glyn Johns thing, or is that something different? My drum miking knowledge is crap. But yeah, he was telling me about it. I gave him a call the other day in preparation for this, because I was like, I don't know anything about the drum recordings. So thank you, Adam, for giving me the info required. Okay, where are we? So overheads. They are not very wide sounding, I will say. I don't know if you listen to it and you listen for where the hi-hat is, where the cymbal crashes are, when he goes around the toms, it's not do-do-doom or psh, psh, it's quite narrow. So there's a cymbal on the right. But it's more there than out there. Stupid loop back. I quite like the loop back sound, because it suddenly feel like I'm at the seaside. Okay. Yeah, and I think it's okay that the overheads are fairly somewhat narrow, because, and maybe actually the reason for this, but we've got these percussion loops which are a bit wider, so it all adds up to, we don't want everything out there all the time. Anyway, so when we put those percussion loop and the drummer, kind of makes it all sound wider, even though the drums are fairly narrow. What else is here? Adam's great at that. Yeah, one of the things he's really good at is he'll do your drum track, and then he'll go, right, I'm just going to go and do some tambourine, and then he goes in there and he's just puts the tambourine on the, on the 2 or whatever, and then what about a little bit of shaker? And I'm like, yeah, go for it, record perfect shaker track. Yeah, lovely stuff. Yeah, the tambourine's here. I think we've probably got a big reverb on it. Oh no, it's Cabasa. Oh. Yeah, make a bit more of that. I get so sidetracked. Okay, right. So the overheads to me sound quite nice. Might just thin them out a little bit, just to just through habit, really, I suppose. They sound okay, but I guess the sound of the kick drum and the sound of the snare on the close mics is really nice, whereas on the sound of the overheads, it's not always as doesn't sound quite as good. So I'm inclined to just try and take out a little bit of the low end. Maybe have a high pass here. I mean, 80s, there's not going to be much going on down there, but there will be something. I don't know if you guys can hear it at home, but there's quite a noticeable difference between high passing at 82 and high passing at 100, the speakers in the room. Mainly on the kick. There's a pretty meaty snare, pretty meaty kick, so I'm gonna leave it at 100. There's a kind of slightly boxy frequency in there. Bonk, bonk. Where is it? Might have a little look for that. Kind of there. So some of you will have seen what I did there, and that would have made perfect sense. But essentially, this is how much we're boosting by. Turn that right up, and then sweep through the frequencies to find out where it sounds the worst, and then just turn it down a bit. So this is nothing on that. So there's the boost. I don't know which one of those I like the least. I think I prefer that. Okay, so let's have that with the kick and snare. So the snares have got a fair bit of weight to it, but I quite like that. I'm just going to leave that as it is for now. Toms, let's check them out. I think they're going to be kind of ringy. Okay, so there's some nonsensical cutting. So they don't need to be half as long as they are. I'm going to gate those. I cannot be bothered to go through all of these, fading them out. Let's see. This is the kind of thing that I used to do, and there's no point doing a 3K shelf, a 3.5 dB shelf at 7.5K. It just brings out unwanted stuff. Presumably there was something here that I didn't like, but let's have a listen. Tom EQ medium looks like it's just the Logic default Logic Tom EQ. You don't hear them very much, so I'm not too worried about these. But what I might do is just try and set up a quick gate on them. The Logic gate is all right, but I much prefer the Boz Digital Labs big beautiful door. Right below the threshold, we want nothing. Right, so that's where we set the threshold. Boom, we want it, but we need it to hold it for longer. What we got there? A slow release. Okay, because I'm lazy, I'm just going to copy that one and hope that the other Tom does something similar. I mean, I will check in. All right, it's a bit longer, as you'd expect from the lower drum. But it's okay. You don't need to hear the tail out there. Okay. First time I've seen someone using Logic. Wow, the stuff you can do is amazing. The way you identified that frequency in like 3 seconds. Thank you. Logic is amazing. They're all amazing. They're all fantastic programs. I've begun using hardware. You can't really see it here, but like there's the outboard rack units for compression and EQ. I've been lucky enough to be loaned a couple of very nice things, and they do sound better, I think, than the plugins. But we're talking single-digit percentages in a lot of the cases. For this, I think I'm just going to stick with plugins because it's you can see what I'm doing on screen rather than if I'm twiddling a knob down there, it doesn't really make sense. Anyway, right, let's carry on. So the drums start sounding all right. There's the room. So there's some distortion, more distortion, compression, not doing anything, so let's get rid of it. Not using any EQ. So what we could do with this, there's a traditional or typical application, the room mic would be to compress it a bit. I don't know. Let's do it. So this is just a mono stereo. Sounds kind of similar to the overhead, so we'll see. Well, not really. It's nice to compress room microphones when there's a bit of a room to be picked up, when there's some reverb or some room ambience. So one thing that I sometimes do is put a reverb on the room mic and then compress it. So not like a typical reverb, but an ambience. Space Designer is great for this. So you just go and find a small space. Let's find a medium-sized room. Random. Now, to me, that sounds wonky, off to the right. It's more noticeable with the reverb for some reason, and as you can see, the right channel is louder than the left. Which is not the end of the world, but we can fix it, so we may as well. So that kind of sounds like it's in a bigger room now. So to compress it, what should we use? I quite like this one. The Klanghelm DC8C3 is like the most flexible compressor, and it's dirt cheap. Crush. So I don't know if you really want me to explain everything that I'm doing here. It's essentially what I'm trying to do is just get a bit of movement into the whole drum kit. This is just the room microphone, remember, but get a bit of movement into it so that when there's a cymbal crash, that you kind of feel the cymbals being compressed, as in having their volume slightly dipped by the kick and the snare, which are the louder elements. So it sort of goes kind of pumping effect. The faster the attack, the more it will reduce the gain, because this obviously the kick and the snare are very transient, but so it's the first few milliseconds are the ones that they will limit the most. I kind of like the way this is a bit overdone. I might take out a little bit of the... Oh, I quite like that. All right, sounds quite nice. I'm inclined now to move on to something else, and then maybe come back to, come back to the drums as we go, just to see how they're working with the rest of the instruments. Just want to get a bit of a better balance with them, really. So this is the chorus, so this is where we want it to be, sort of all coming together. Yeah, a bit more of the bottom mic's nice, otherwise it's just that sort of thwatty top mic, and you kind of want the pick up the nice ghost notes. So I'm just keeping an eye on the master output there. So it's getting quite yeah, we're kind of up as loud as we want to be. So rather than get into a war of, oh, now I need to turn the bass up, oh, now I need to turn the guitars up, now I need to turn up the acoustics, sometimes it's better just to, if the drums are a bit loud at this point, I think maybe bringing them down is the way to go. It's mainly kick and snare, I think. They sound pretty loud there, but that is because there's nothing else really happening. There's just a bit of guitar and a bit of bass, and that lead vocal is the thing that's going to be right there. And yeah. Okay. Snares sounds a bit flat and a bit like it's not really like it could use a bit of reverb, basically, to me. Can I add some top end to this? I wonder. Come back. All right, the bass. I think I played the bass on this. In stereo, not traditionally what you would do, but I'm guessing that I recorded it through the Kemper, and the Kemper outputs SPDIF, which is stereo. So I'm guessing that's why it's a stereo track. Now this is going to be embarrassing. Still, I do this. I'm doing it for you. I remember trying to be behind the beat with this, because it was pretty just trying to get that sort of greasy kind of groove. So there's quite a bit going on here. Let's have a look. Oh, okay, nothing's there. Get rid. Couple of dB of fast attack, fast release, high ratio compression. Probably leave that in place. Reverb. Oh yeah, that's what it needs. Why not? Presumably it was a good idea. Now this to me looks like something I've done because of my room. Like, let's get rid of this. I was thinking about something else for a second there. I don't see the point. Maybe there's a little hump there. Fuck it, leave it. Okay, what I like here is this little filtered groove. So there's a bunch of stuff happening here. Presumably this is filter freak or something. Yes, there we go. Nice. I'm leaving that, but I'm going to turn it up, I think. Oh yeah, I haven't told you about the most exciting bit of all, which is ukulele. I love that, and it helps with that synth thing that's going on in the chorus here. Very simple. I played the ukulele, that was me. It's up there somewhere. I've got a really crap ukulele that it kind of doesn't, I can't really tune it, so I can basically have to tune it to one chord, play that chord, then tune it to the next chord and play that chord. But maybe that's the thing that made Liv decide not to release it in the end. Okay, just checking on the health of the stream. Amazing that the camera's working all right. Okay, cool. Right, so this, I think you miss if it's not there. There we go, confirmation from the artist herself. Ukulele killed it. Well, there we go. Sorry, Alexis. I know Alex likes this song. Well, I don't even know if you've heard the version with a vocal. But anyway, yep, that's what it... I think that might be... Maybe it's true. Or maybe it's Liv and her reflections on the song and how she's changed as a person and no longer reflects her attitude to men. Who knows? I don't know. No, I think it was just the wrong... just didn't have the vibe, same vibe as the rest of it. But I like the song. Anyway. So I'm quite liking this. These filtery drums, they're a little quiet. But that serves to provide contrast for when the acoustic drums do come in, and they're nice and loud. Overheads could use a little bit of ambiance, I think. Not that ambiance. Bit weird men playing the ukulele, John. That is a reference to the stream earlier in the week on Liv's channel, where I said that I thought that women playing electric guitars looked a bit strange. Now, as a violent feminist, that's not the word, is it? As a dedicated feminist, I obviously don't have any issues with women playing any instruments or doing whatever the hell they like. I was really reflecting on my own weirdness and why that would be strange to me. But then I looked at it from the other angle, and I was thinking, actually, it looks kind of weird when men play the flute. And I just think it's interesting to reflect on our gender stereotypes and the prejudices we have on these sorts of things. It doesn't mean... I know a man who plays the flute. He's a lovely man, and he's very manly. So, what do I know? But anyway. Right. Onwards. What was I saying? Okay, let's have a look at this frigging guitar. This is the bit I'm going to be embarrassed about. This is a guide guitar, right? This is not me doing my bestest guitar playing. But it's got a nice vibe. It's got that kind of greasy. What is gender anyway? Well, I will explain it to you if I need to. There will not be any demonstrations, but boys and girls are different, Alex. And you've probably just asked your parents, really, that they should have had this conversation with you some decades ago. Funnily enough, since the live stream, we can't think of a prolific female electric guitarist. Anyone? Exactly. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be them, but it adds to the feeling of prejudice or imbalance. Anyway, I'm going to run the drums through this hardware unit. So get ready. I've got a patch bay here, but I have to concentrate. Right, so we're coming outputs 3 and 4 to inputs on the monster. Output of the monster. Back to input 3 and 4. Okay. Now, who knows how this is going to go? So first, what we have to do, though, is make sure the drums are all going to the same place, because that is what is going to get sent to that. It's called it's a compressor, and it's a valve compressor / distortion unit. So it gives things like kind of crunchy sexiness, called a loop trotter monster. On loan to me, very kind Jack Galloway. So, right. Okay, I have to concentrate here. So the kick bus. So bus 6. So these drums are all going to bus 16, which I assume is going to be called drum bus. Yes, bus 16. So kick bus is also going to go drum bus, and the snare bus is also going to go to the drum bus. Time to jack up. Yes, indeed. Check out Nita Strauss and Orinthia Panagaris. Michael Jackson's. This is right. Yeah, we don't talk about him. Yeah, Michael Jackson. Yes, right. Obviously there are phenomenal female guitar players. It's not really the question. It's really about just me. Right. So we have to use a Logic plugin, the in-out plugin, I/O. In out, shake it all about. Outputs 3 and 4. It means it's coming out of outputs 3 and 4 of the interface and back into the inputs 3 and 4 here. Hopefully, this is going to work. No. Outputs 3 and 4. Nothing. Dead silence. I don't know why that would be, but this does happen from time to time. So it sounds like it's not actually going out. Let's try outputs 5 and 6. This must be riveting to watch. It must be absolutely riveting. Okay, fuck it. Have a look at that another time. It's weird though. Why would that be? Anyway, you don't want to watch me troubleshoot, so let's move on. But what we can do is we can synthesize it by using Decapitator. Decapitator is a lovely distortion plugin from Sound Toys, who make the best plugins. So we don't want but we do want to compress it a little bit before we get to it. Let's try this one. This is a fun compressor. Also kind of clips a bit. I'm wondering if I actually know how to use it. Alright. There we go. So what I'm doing there is trying to get a sound that's fun, and now we'll just try and balance the approximate level of it and see whether it sounds better because it is better, or whether it sounds better because it's just louder. There's a good way of fooling yourself that you've done something good is to run it through plugins and it comes out louder, and then you turn the plugin off and you're like, oh, it sounds much better now. That's just because you've turned it up and your ear likes that more. So it's about getting the output volume balanced. Bypassed. In. So I'm looking here at this. I'm looking here at the meters and seeing whether we're getting any extra volume without actually making it any louder. Louder peaks on the overall output. So by matching it by eye, so that they're roughly, I think it's roughly -9. put the plugin on. Give that. I like it. I like it. I'm not going to worry about that too much. Let's crack on. Just going to look at some music, some guitar, drums up music. Now that is thin. Right. So we've got a high pass at 50 Hertz. That's okay. We could probably make that 80 Hertz, as we don't need any of the low end stuff. But that being passed at 220 is too high. So let's put that back to 0. And then it's kind of spiky. Let's see how this sounds. So it was recorded with a slapback delay by the sounds of it. So this is it. This is with nothing. Again, it's in stereo because it's from the Kemper, and there's a tremolo on there. Now it's pretty dumb to record a stereo tremolo guitar, because usually the stereo tremolo moves from left to right. Instead of up and down, it will just bend it across. And then when you pan it, as you often want to do with a guitar in the mix, it does weird things. You don't always get the same kind of tremolo effect. It will kind of always a bit unpredictable, really, depending on your pan law. Still. So to me, this is having a huge effect. Like, the lack of low end in the guitar is making the track sound, what's the word? It doesn't sort of sit together quite as nicely. So when we take the EQ off it completely, the guitar gets much warmer, and the whole mix kind of comes together a bit more nicely. Now it may be it may need some low end taking away, but it certainly did too much before. I'm enjoying it more, that's for sure. Oh, well, there's a volume issue there. I do want to add a little bit of gain to a little bit of okay, I'm going to have to get this app if I ever do this again, because it's annoying having to keep restarting the thing. No. Okay. Let's go for Decapitator again. That's not the manufacturer. Does this all make sense to anybody who's watching it? If you have any questions, ask them. How long have we been doing this now? We've been doing this for 1 hour and 10 minutes. Time flies. Do you know what? I'm not going to listen to that in isolation and do it. I'm going to do it with the rest of the track, because that's where it counts. So I think the original guitar tone is nicer than the EQ'd guitar tone that we had before. Could just be because I want to hear my own guitar a bit more nicely. But that's someone else might want to hear it. You never know. Okay, I want to hear the vocals in here now, because to me this is all sounding much more nice. Now the vocals are a little bit, I don't know why, but we've got them in a group, or whatever that's called. We've got the intro, the verse, the chorus, and the middle eight. They're all done separately, and they're all so I and they're very low. I think this must have been when I first got this microphone, an SM7, and the output is very, very low. So they're super quiet. Okay, so we've got a little bit of a tuning thing here. Okay, let's do oopsie, mouse glitch. Let's do a quick bit of melodyning. I'm gonna try Melodyne ARA. This is the dodgy. Somebody says yes. I don't know. Mr. Butter says yes. I don't know to what you are referring. All right. So basically, the way this works is these are the notes. So this is loads of fun. Everybody loves melodyning. What I am going to do though is turn off some of these. Oh, there's some automatic pitch correction. That won't help me in this because that will be changing the pitch of it while I'm trying to correct it. Yeah, these are definitely guide vocals. I don't know how much point there is. What's little mic? Oh, little micro shift. Don't want. Okay, we can lose that. We can lose. Yeah. That's a little bit sharp. So, yeah, this was done, as I've mentioned, some years ago. And I'm sure Liv and I would probably, if we were actually going to do this properly, probably re-record the vocal. Because it doesn't really matter how long you've been doing something. You keep getting better and better at all of these things. And I've seen Liv's development as a vocalist over these years. It's been huge. Of course, I would say that, but hey. Yeah, so that just a bit sharp, just pulls it back. And then again there, that's sharp, but you don't really hear it. Anyway, this is a contentious subject, melodyning vocals. Every vocal gets melodined these days, I think. Everything. All lead vocals, all pop music, everything's been touched up, and you can't hear it. You cannot tell if it's been done well. So you can take your Carries and your Lady Gagas and all of that. I mean, no doubt, great vocalists, but yeah. Anyway, so hour and 15. Right, I'm going to try and get to a point for 6:30. Oh, I think I know what I've done. The reason the intro vocal is separate to the verse vocal, for example, is that there are different effects on each one. Back when I did this, I think I tended to, if there were big differences in the vocal sounds, I would just have them on different tracks and then move the vocal around, depending, like cut the vocal and then put the verse there where there's fewer effects, and put the intro there where I've got all the delay and stuff on. So that's, I think, what's going on here. Okay, I'm getting into this now. BVs are really nice in this, and they are quiet, very quiet. So they're obviously done in pairs. Break your heart, I'll take all that you think you know and tear it apart. You think you'll be the one to make a new... Yeah, so these are grouped. You can see by this line that these are all together. So that's all of these vocals here going through this one. So this controls all of them. I don't really work like this anymore, but I quite like it. Actually, it does make sense to do it that way, as long as you can keep up with it. Be the one to make a... That could have been... Tear it apart. You think you'll be the one to make a new start. So this vocal... Let's go, I'm gonna leave. It sounds compressed, but its release is not right. I'm going to just kill that and do it again, because you can hear it squashing. I'm gonna... But I think maybe we need something a bit clean, which would be this microcomp, PSB microcomp. Let's go. I'm gonna lead you on and break your heart. I'll take all that you think you know and tear it apart. You think you'll be the one to make a new start for me, but it's always the same story. I don't enjoy it, no, it's... Cool. Okay, that sounds quite good. Don't know how well it's sitting.
Let's go. I'm gonna lead you on.
We've got a huge volume discrepancy for a start on this first bit, so let's automate that.
Let's go. I'm gonna lead you on and break. Let's go. I'm gonna lead you on and break your heart. I'll take all that you think you know and tear it apart. You think you'll be the one to make a new start for me, but it's always the same story. Let's go. I'm gonna lead you on and break.
Sounds better. I think it needs reverb, but not for that first. I'm gonna. So again, we use some automation, and we're going to automate the reverb. We're using Valhalla Vintage Reverb. It's really nice. I love it on vocals. And then so you come into here, we go automate the mix. So now we draw, we have, it will automatically follow this, and that is basically like drawing this, moving this knob here, so to speak. So
Let's go. I'm gonna lead you on and break. Let's go. I'm gonna lead you on and break your heart. I'll take all that you think you know and tear it apart. You think you'll be the one to make a new start for me, but it's always the same story.
and then for that lower line at the end, it's always the same. It doesn't need to be reverb on that, so we can just, but it could use a bit more volume because she's singing lower.
But it's always the same story. But it's always the same story.
Again, more automation needed in here, I think.
It's always the same story.
Or we could compress more. Let's try that.
Be the one to make a new start for me, but it's always the
Why isn't that doing anything? Okay, so correct channel. Ratio is 4. Makeup gain, tons of it. What you doing?
Let's go. I'm gonna lead.
Is that doing any?
Let's go. I'm gonna lead you on and break.
I think it's just because the gain is so low on this recording. In fact, that is problematic. So I'm going to put the gain plugin on here. Dum, 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 dum. We'll give it a whopper 12 dB boost. That will help.
Let's go. I'm gonna lead you on.
Okay, so now we're in business.
Let's go. I'm gonna lead you on and break your heart. I'll take all that you think you know and tear it apart. You think you'll be the one to make a new start.
Okay. So let's get rid of this automation.
Let's go. I'm gonna lead you on
want to bring out that word a bit there. For
Make
me.
a new start for me. Make a new start for me. But it's always the same story.
I see you've lost the camera. Oh dear, and the streaming's gone to shit as well. Alright, well let's get rid of the camera. Okay, I'm going to just pause the stream. Actually, no, we're coming to the end now, aren't we? So let's just plow on and hope that yeah, just going to pause and restart the stream. Yeah, I think we're back. Camera's died, as it always does. It just overheats. Maybe I'll just try the battery. Give me a sec. I'll play the track through for you.
But it's always the same story. I don't enjoy it, no, it's honestly just my way. I don't know how it started, I guess I've always been this way. I'll leave you fast and won't be able to tell you I am now and then for you. Hard to see my I'm gonna lead you on and break your heart. I'll take all that you think you know and tear it apart. You think you'll be the one to make a new start for me. But it's always the same story. I bet you think you'll be that someone to break
Right,
the
back.
cycle. I say, come on, come on. Bring your A game and do your best. Show me how you're different from the rest. Yeah.
Alrighty.
That doesn't mean that I'm
Sorry about that. So the battery ran out. The loop back program timed out. And all at the same time. Isn't that great? Okay, so looks like the stream's back. It looks like it's running a bit better. So let's just carry on, see where we're getting to.
honestly just my way. I don't know how it started.
Okay, so this for me, this is sort of sounding quite nice. I mean, I would continue to work on this, but for the purposes of this today, let's try and pull the whole thing together with a little bit of work on the main bus, and try and make it sound like a pop record. I love this bit. This is like my favorite bit is doing this because it just all suddenly sounds so much better. Yeah.
I'll take all that you think you know and tear it apart. You think you'll be
Oh, it's
the one
going to get a bit louder
to
now.
make a new start for me. But it's always the same story.
So what I've just done, I should just explain. So this master output is also the one that's at the far right here. This is the everything going through this channel. So we have this compressor, which is lovely. It's extremely transparent, which means you don't really hear it working. You don't hear it pumping. It certainly doesn't distort or anything, unlike what we were looking to do with the drums earlier. But this is a really nice, it just kind of pulls things together and gives them a lovely professional shiny sheen. And this one, this is the limiter. This is basically very, very like a one knob plugin. It sounds great. You just fire your track into it and makes it loud. Very, very good sounding. It's quite expensive, these plugins, but they're well worth it.
Take all that you think you know and tear it apart. You think you'll be the one to make a new start for me. But it's always the same story.
Yeah, we need to pull this vocal down here.
Always the same story.
These need to be much louder. Why are they so quiet? Right, let's just grab them all, turn them up.
I don't enjoy it, no, it's
Okay, so the do's are a bit lush. They're really nice, but they're kind of filling out the sound too much for me now. So I want to just take off a little bit at the top end. And quite a lot of this stuff here, this is where the warmth is. So that should be better. Yes, that is me. Me and Liv, obviously. Okay. Who doesn't like a lush doo-doo? Alex, nice to see you still here, mate. Thanks for sticking around. But I think we can still thin this out. That's pretty good. A bit roughly cut off there. Amateur hour. Okay, let's see how that sits now.
I don't enjoy.
Well, it sits too quietly. Right, I'm not going to start trying to troubleshoot what's gone on here, but I am just going to turn it up like that.
I don't enjoy. I don't enjoy it, no, it's honestly just my way. I don't know how it started, I guess I've always been this way. I'll leave you fast and won't be able to
toms are a bit wild there.
Let's go. I'm gonna leave.
I like it, but maybe just a bit much.
Let's go. I'm gonna lead you on and break your heart. I'll take all that you think you know and tear it apart. You think you'll be the one to make a new start with me.
So yeah, but essentially now I'm just kind of playing through and seeing if it's the overall vibe is happening. For me, a lot of this process is about moving between zooming right in and then zooming out, and just keep going in and out. Your head's blown. What's blowing your mind, Alex? Feel free to stop me, or if you just want me to finish and get to the end, say so. Anyway, so now I'm just for me. We're just about playing through it and just checking things are roughly in the right place. Is it enjoyable? Oh yeah, here comes the middle eight.
Be the one to make a new start with me. But it's always the same story. I bet you.
Okay, that vocal was quiet. But it's always the same.
But it's always the same story. I bet you think you'll be that someone to break the cycle. I say, come on, when you're ringing, do your best. Show me how you're different from the rest. That doesn't.
So the whole thing starts to fall apart a little bit there, where everything gets louder. But it's, I think, mainly just those vocals. Probably you can see there that the guitar gets a lot louder, and I could hear that was happening.
But it's always the same story. I bet you think you'll be that someone to break the cycle. I say, come on, when you're ringing, do your best. Show me how you're different from the rest.
Yep. I'm hearing now the drums are different when we're in the middle eight, because he's hitting the cymbals and playing a bit heavier. So I would be inclined to perhaps look at.
I bet you think. When you're ringing, do your best. Show me how you're different from the rest. But it's always the same story. I bet you think you'll be that someone to break the cycle. I say, come on, when you're ringing, do your best. Show me how you're different from the rest. That doesn't mean that I'm. When you're ringing, do your best. Show me how you're different from the rest.
Yeah, I think here I would want to have a little look more at those drums, and just sort of get that they've gone a little bit kind of mid-rangey, a bit narrow. So in that middle eight section, I think it's probably just some automation. It'd be a case of going through the mics and finding out which microphone it works less well when he's playing, as he plays for those 20 seconds, and maybe just making some changes there. I was trying to scoop out a big chunk of the overheads there. It wasn't really that.
It's always the same story. I bet you think you'll be that someone to break the cycle. I say, come on,
think it's the room mic, unsurprisingly. So let's just this is very, very rough and dirty. Let's just pull this down.
I bet you think you'll be there somewhere, but it's always the same story. I bet you think you'll be there somewhere to break the cycle as they come up.
Okay, those BVs are too loud there. Rather than automating those two, I can see that the waveform is thicker for these ones. So I'm just going to turn them down. So you highlight them, you go to region, gain, click and drag, and you reduce them.
I bet you think you'll be there somewhere to break the cycle as they come on, come on. Bring your A game and do your best. Show me how you're different from the rest.
Not really hearing the acoustic. I think that's going to be... Oh, I can see you guys in the chat there. Been dipping in and out. Missed a bit. You missed a bit where I talked about your album. Oh, well, mate. As she says, yeah, just it's a great album. Without doing it, wouldn't have found friendship among yourself. Yeah, well, there was a life changing connection. That one, wasn't it? Oh man, I can see my streams going tits up again. But yeah, no, it was great. It was great working on that and getting to know you. Not a bad fella. Not a bad fella. Right, I said I was going to try and fix 6, but I am getting starving hungry now. So let's plow on. Right, so the acoustic guitar plays like a percussive role at this point. Well, that is its role. So it's either going to go left or right. So I'm going to have a quick listen to the track, see what else is happening and where there's a space for it.
It's always the same story. I bet you think you'll be there somewhere.
Also, I want to thin it out even more. It's not so much the low end as this kind of chunky area here.
Show me how you're different from the rest, yeah. That doesn't mean that I'm not gonna lead you on and break your heart. I'll take all that you think you know and tear it apart. You think you'll be the one to make a new...
Okay, I'll be back. Hopefully we are. Yeah, sorry about that. I don't know how much of what I said you caught or didn't, but essentially we just found a home for the acoustic guitar.
Make a new start for me, but I know how it goes. It's always the same story.
Oh yeah, one last thing to show you here is that the hi-hat mic muted throughout except for just the end here. Adam was doing this lovely syncopated kind of I don't know, it's like a kind of cross rhythm thing that on the hi-hat, which I really liked. So what? It's just a nice little fun percussion thing. So we've got this auto panner. So that should be quite fun in headphones. And it just, for that final chorus, just a fun little bit of ear candy. The only other thing, well, I mean, the vocals, I would want to now automate the vocals, probably actually put them all together and that loopback software is the bane of my life. I spent probably about 4 or 5 hours most of the day trying to figure out how to run the Logic audio and this microphone. I'm not going to bore you with it. It should be simple, you would think, but actually it's it's not. Anyway, right. So to finish up, yeah, I would want to automate these vocals and get them consistent. What I would probably do would be to get in here, make one lead vocal out of all of it and separate any doubles and stuff, and then sort of treat it through the song rather than having a track here, because then I end up mixing and I've like turned one vocal up and then I haven't turned the other one up and yada yada yada. So that's an annoying workflow and something I've never really done much of, so I'm not sure why now. Anyway, the overall mix, probably do a bit of work on the bass guitar. Don't really want to do that in headphones. Bass drum and bass guitar mixing on the headphones I find it very difficult to judge. So it sounds nice in the cans, but out here I can hear that the bass guitar is a bit boomy and all over the place. So I would tidy that up and then maybe a little bit of EQ on the main bus. But that is pretty much as far as I think I'm going to go tonight. So thank you for sticking with or dropping in. It's been lovely to have you. I don't know if I'll do this again. I was curious as to how it might be to do it, and it's been quite enjoyable. I hope it's been helpful. But yeah, let me know. Feel free to like the video or subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for watching. I'm gonna leave it there. I hope you're all well, staying safe. Thank you again. And yeah, see you soon. Ta-ra.